Hi guys, I tend to try and do these videos just in one go because I can't stand repeating myself. I think I sound dead phony, but I just had to stop one take because we had a massive thunderstorm with hail banging against the bay window, and then I had a coughing fit, so I've got a cup of peppermint tea there which I'm going to keep sipping if I get a dry throat, so apologies if I lean over and grab that. Anyway, I want to do a quick video on something that a few of you have asked me to feature. I've had questions to show you different leather types and how to care for them, and over various styles and so on. And really, my collection probably doesn't spread far enough to include everything that you guys would like to see. And also, I'm really not an expert on all of the different leathers. However, I happen to have 4 vintage Mulberry bags here at the moment, so I thought I'll show you at least what they look like, what I know about the leathers and about the styles, and I'd be very happy to invite anybody to either correct me when I'm wrong somewhere or add to it or whatever, and I'd be happy to obviously pop that on my blog or update the video or whatever. So please give me some feedback if you have anything to add, or certainly if you have anything to correct, because as I said, I'm not an expert. I'm just on my blog, I'm just sharing what I'm learning at the moment. So I'm going to start with one bag you might have seen in one of my earlier videos. It is a Blenheim, a classic Blenheim, not the new style. It's a classic Blenheim, which is also known as a baby Roxanne, and it is done in the original Darwin leather, which is sort of has been replaced with what we call NVT, or new veg tanned leathers. And apparently this is considered by many the superior because it's a bit thicker. The quality is as such that it ages and wears beautifully. Any scratches, I mean there are scratches on it if I look really closely, but they're all sort of blend in, and I don't smell a huge amount at the moment, but even my stuffy nose, I can smell this. One thing I've heard recently, and I hope that's correct, is apparently when you have a round Mulberry sign in the back, that bit, if that's round, that's not Darwin leather anymore, but those rectangular ones, they are Darwin leather. So anyway, this one is chocolate, so it's a deep dark brown. The hardware is in a copper colour, so it's a really warm, I actually prefer it to the brassy colour. All of the studs, all of the buckles, everything is done in that copper. Excuse me. And yeah, I bought it pre-loved, and you could see obviously that it's used. It has a bit of a stain on the inside, clearly where something, I don't know whether I can show that very well, but where something, no you can't see that, something has leaked. And on the outside, if you really search for it, I think you can find a tiny bit, but I think it just sort of gets absorbed into the leather and then it disappears, which I think is fabulous, because for me bags are there to be used, not abused, but used, so it's great if they're not too sensitive. So anyway, Darwin leather is quite heavy, so considering this is quite a small bag, it is not that light. So if you think about in the same leather, you'd have a full-size Roxanne or anything like that, it will be quite a weight. I don't have a Roxanne, although I'm thinking about getting one, so I will report on that whether I find that too heavy if I do get one. But yeah, so that's the Darwin leather, and I believe the best way of caring for it is with a spray to waterproof it every now and then with the Colonial gel or cream. Just especially if it dries out, I'm sure you will be able to see whether it needs that, if it crackles or if it doesn't, if you just think it looks like it needs nourishing, you just use the gel or the cream to rub it on and then sort of buff it off a bit. But I guess the main thing is you would want to waterproof it with the spray, especially if you have an oak colour, because it will just get water stains a lot easier. So Darwin leather. Now I believe this is Darwin as well, But even this is, I think, I mean, it's a bigger item, but that leather is even heavier. Now, this is a little rucksack with drawstring closure at the top. And as you can see, the other bag, the Blenheim, wasn't lined at all. Now, these older styles, I don't know whether they're 80s or whether they still went into the 90s. They're lined with the signature Mulberry fabric. It's very well known. I think they still do like scarves and stuff in that. Yeah, it's quite heavy, and it's the structure of the leather. Yeah, it's very, very similar. So it's that kind of not structure, sorry, texture. It's almost like that sort of pebbly kind of. It's very natural. It feels very natural, and it feels very robust. As I say, good weight to it, and I expect that will wear very well. Now, whereas this one has a made-in tag, a little black, you can't see that, a little black fabric tag that says made in Turkey on one side and has a couple of letters on the other side, and it has the Mulberry coin. It hasn't got a number on the back, which I've been informed is absolutely fine for some vintage styles. Now this one, the newer Mulberry coins, you will probably know, have the number sort of etched into it, so depending on how you hold it up to light, sometimes you can't even see that number. But some of the older style bags actually have the number carved or imprinted into it, so it's actually, you can feel it. So whereas on a newer bag, I would expect the number, as I said, to sort of appear etched or lasered in kind of thing. Certainly not to have been pushed in and printed in on the older, on those vintage styles. That's certainly fine. Also here, the made-in tag. Where is it? I've seen it. Oh yeah, all the made-in tag does. It's in French and it says "Fabriqué en Angleterre." There we go, which I've seen on a few of those vintage ones. So quite different, but coming back to the leather, quite heavy again, yeah, an original Darwin. And even with my nose, I can still smell that. So considering this is a good few years old, it's aged incredibly well, and the leather is fabulous. It's really supple, nice. And then I've got a couple of satchels here. Now this, I probably know more about the leather simply because I know what it's called. This is what they call Congo leather, and it's where essentially the sort of texture was imprinted onto it to give it this sort of almost like an exotic skin appearance. Lined again in that fabric. And there as well we have a coin with the tree on one side. Ooh, you can't see that. Oh, hold on. With the tree on one side and with the imprinted number on the other side. And we also have the Mulberry logo there. In terms of leather care, again, I believe it's quite similar. I'd use the gel or the cream on this. You do get scratches of them, of course you do, because you're using them, but they polish out quite nicely actually when you nourish it. So that's the teak coloured Congo leather, and actually I really like that. As far as the vintage leather goes, I think that's probably my favourite because it almost goes sort of multi-tonal. It has sort of darker brown, lighter brown, and almost reddish undertones in it. And when you, especially if you've just put some colour nail on it, it polishes up really nicely. It's just lovely. And then last but not least, I've got another satchel style here, which you can undo by the buckle here or easier by just doing that. Lined again with that. And then we've got the coin on the side with the imprinted number. And the slightly more unusual leather, this has been printed as well, but it's a smaller structure, so it's almost, again, it's more of an exotic, almost like a reptile-y type skin, if you can see that. Not as fine as the lizard print. It's a more modern lizard print, like I've seen they've done wallets and trims on Alexas and stuff, but it is much smaller scale than the Congo. But I believe this is oak rather than the teak, because it's a little bit lighter. But because it's that printed again, it doesn't tend to be that sensitive to scrapes and scratches. So there were a couple on there when I colonialed it, and I can't even find them. So yeah, ages really, really beautifully. And that as well has, and I can't show you because it's the lining sort of sewn in there, has the Fabriqué en Angleterre white tag and the Mulberry stamped logo there. So there you go. I'm sorry, it probably was a lot of rambling rather than proper factual information, but I just wanted to show you these styles. So if there's anybody out there who knows an awful lot and they would like to add to this, or maybe write something to publish on my blog, or for me to put a link onto their blog, please do get in touch. I'm certainly very happy to be taught and enlightened on this, and would appreciate any input. So thank you very much. Hope to see you soon, and let me know what you think. Bye.